Hello, I'm Pastor Sterling Alonso of the Progressive Church. I want to share with you today about promotion through process. That God wants to promote you and elevate you and bring you to a higher place. But before He can bring you to a higher place, you must understand that God brings you through a process. You must understand that Jesus talks about before you can become a leader, you must learn to become a servant. So Jesus told his disciples, James and John came to Jesus and asked Jesus, listen, let one of us sit on your right hand and the other on your left hand when you come in your kingdom. And Jesus, I want you all to understand that the kingdom is not set up the way the world is set up. He said, when you're going to be promoted in the kingdom, you start from the bottom and then you'll work your way to the top. In other words, Jesus told them that he who is greatest among you, let him be your servant. That promotion starts from the bottom, and then God brings you through the process, and then God brings you to the top. When we look at Joseph, when God told Joseph that he was going to promote him and that he was going to make him a ruler, that he was going to make him a leader in life, but then God took Joseph through a process before he put him in the seat of authority. He took Joseph. Joseph ends up in a pit. He's down in the pit. Then he pulled him out of the pit, and then looked like Joseph was on his way up. But he goes from the pit. Then he ends up in prison. Then he spends many years in prison. And then while he was in prison, God still was working his plan through Joseph. You must understand, God never brings you straight to the top, but God brings you through a process. And then Joseph leaves from the prison. Then he ends up into the palace. Some of you today, you're going through some things in your life. God has given you dreams. God has given you vision. God has shown you some great things that he's going to do in your life. And you are jumping and you're shouting and you're celebrating. But now you got to get prepared for the process. You got to get prepared to go through the storm, to go through the valleys, to go through the waters. God talks about in the Psalms that God will bring us through the waters and through the fire. But then he brings us into a wealthy place. You will never go straight to your dreams and your vision. No, you will go through a process. But when you understand that God brings you through process, then we cooperate with God and then we work with God. But we do not abort the plan of God for our lives because things are difficult. We're going through some oppositions and challenges because we don't understand what's going on. But when we understand that God brings me through a process before he promotes me. So when I'm going through the waters, I'm going through my challenges, I'm going through my difficulties, I don't get discouraged. I don't quit. I don't give in because I understand this is only a process. But when the process is all said and done, I'm going to arrive to the place that God has promised me. I'm going to get to the spot that God has ordained for me. But right now, I just got to go through the process. And I'm telling you, quit fighting the process that God has for you. Work with God. God is building something in you. God is developing something in you because God is bringing you somewhere. The place that God has for you, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has entered into your heart the great things that God has in store for you. So you work with God. Go through the process because your best days are ahead of you. Bless the name of the Lord.